best choices in life are basically your career choices and your private choices. How do we make them? Do we stick to our fears, or do we stick to our past mistakes, or do we just let go of them and move to a different landscape? Just like she did, can we get out of our comfort zone and try something new? How do we not discouraged by our, failed job applications or not returned phone calls and move on? This is a question, and some of you, if you've heard me before, this is something that I attended a workshop in Harvard University for about a week. And one day, it's about women and power workshop, and one full day, they teach you really how to really sit down and negotiate. One of our professors did a quick test on the classroom and said, now I'm going to give you a chocolate. Would you take it? And women, it's all women, by the way, no men. And people say, yeah, I will take it. But if I toss a coin, if you predict it right, you may get a second one. How do women decide? Most women, about 65% of the women in the room, predicted that, yeah, I'll keep the chocolate that you give me. I don't want to get into the gamble of this thing. Men, on the other hand, prefer the other way around. They say, yeah, I'll take the chocolate. Well, let's toss the coin. Then the professor told us the logic behind it. He said, in the beginning, you didn't have a chocolate to begin with. So you get something free. You want to keep that something free. But you can't lose it anyway. If you toss the coin, you have a chance to get the second one. Why not take the risk? That's what sometimes, as women, stops us from taking that controlled risk. What can I lose? Can I take this step? Maybe just walk on this tiny place a little bit. Yeah, if I fail, I'll stand up again. What does it say about us? Can women maintain controlled risk? What guides us? Fears of past, possibilities of future. And how do we make that adjustment? This is a picture of me recently from Murshidpınar, where I went to cover before the fighting really began in Kobane. When we were talking about these things, people are really packing their bags, walking on somewhat of a shady minefield. And I'll show you how we do get through that minefield. But they take that risk. It's a personal risk. It's about life and death. But they take that risk and they say, well, goats walk this way, dogs use this road, so maybe there's no mine there. Maybe I can take it. That's how they come. This is about another risk that I took, almost about 2007, when I was the Washington correspondent of CNN, Turk and Milliyet. I was covering this black guy called Obama. Nobody gave him a chance. I talked to my editors in Istanbul and said, he's never going to get elected. He's a black guy. So I said, why don't I go into this campaign and work as a volunteer? As a journalist, it's a no-no. You shouldn't do that. I said, yeah, I'll do some undercover work. I'll just hang out with these guys who door knock and distribute pamphlets and do these stuff. It's another risk that I took, and it paid off so well. He won. I wrote a book about his campaign. I worked in the White House for about 6 months. It's still the biggest pleasure of my career. When he's finished, I'm going to sit down and write another book about his 2 terms. But it was a historic chance that I took. It was a risk that I could have called my editor and tell this, and he would say, well, it's against our editorial principles, maybe you should think about your position there. But it's a controlled risk. If you navigate, if you know your way around, maybe you can get away with it. It's another story about risks. This is when we went to Tehran. Everything perfect. The new elections. We're covering the presidential inauguration ceremony. I just asked my guide if we can see the old American embassy that was invaded about 30 years ago. It's a subject of the movie Argo, if you know it. And I said, can I take a picture of the embassy? My guide said, let me call up a couple of people. I said, yeah, okay, let's try. Then they came back with the idea that, well, maybe you should come in and see the building. They say, really? Are you serious? So they opened the doors to the American embassy. They call it the Great Alban Exhibition. It's like the center of espionage in Tehran. That's how they show it to you. And if you log in, I'll show you other funny pictures of it. But yes, it was the center of espionage, by the way. And they just said, well, you are an American channel, but you are a Turkish channel. So we will show you the building, show this to Americans that they still have an embassy here. So I went inside, took pictures of every room and all the espionage rooms and all the other stuff, And Americans came back to themselves. Americans watched this with fascination, and they said, why are Iranians showing this to us, Ahu? So, the way I understand the Iranians, they want to show it like, well, you have a building here, and we kept it pretty safe. If you want to come back one day, hey, you still have a place. I don't know if it paid off well, but it probably was a small contribution to the talks that's going on between the United States and Iran. Tiny bit. I don't think it was too big. But I was told that the pictures I took, the reports I sent, was watched by the State Department and the White House. So you never know. Maybe in 10 years I'll find about it. But this is coming back to what we do. Literally, push for change. What can you lose? Will they fire you? Yeah, we will probably be managed by men. Guys, no offense to you, but half of our experience, half of our talent, they're going to be really mediocre, but stay there. Your creativity is endless. Don't worry about it. Take tips from men, but do not play it like men. Sometimes you may want to play it like men, but don't make it like you are playing like men. It's a tricky thing. You understand them, you know their language. Men are straightforward. They say, well, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do this. Yet you say like, yeah, I'm going to do this, but I'm going to do it from the other way around, maybe do this in a way. That helps you. That probably confuses men a bit. And it helps you. Cooperate with other women. This is the toughest one. You're not going to see eye to eye with your sisters all the time, but stick with it. You don't have to be right every day. Give her the benefit of doubt. One day, she will pay you back tomorrow. Don't worry about it. Demand better pay, better position. This is a one-day workshop in Harvard. They really teach you how to negotiate and not to leave the room without getting something. I've learned it. I still couldn't do it. I've got, tough as a nail managers, but every time I go like, let's do this. Oh, we're busy, ratings, go home, But stick to it, what can you lose? Build your grassroots support. Make friends with people that are not in your working area. They can be the cleaning guy outside or the security guard. You never know who you get help from. As a journalist, I get interesting story tips from all the strangest places, people in the world. And another big honor for me that I was one of the reporters that was on the field in the earthquake zone in Gölcük. I spent about 3 weeks there. It's one of the biggest life experiences of my life. I hope Turkey never lives through it, but it was so enriching and so much important for me psychologically. But again, build your grassroots support. You get phone calls from my taxi driver in Van after the earthquake. It's like, yeah, we have a couple of people who are probably going to be arrested in a couple of hours. I said, what the hell are you talking about? In about 2 hours, you hear like there's a huge police operation going on about drug trafficking in Van, for example. Surprises may come to you when you least expect them. Be the commander of your troops. Do not give orders. Show them that you're in it with them. This is how I do it every day. I have a team of 5 reporters. And they bicker a bit and say, I don't want to write this story. This is too boring. You pick it up yourself. That's what I do. It's like, she doesn't want to write it. Somebody has to write it. I don't want this to be undone, so I'm going to do it. And she's going to see that I did it. Next time, she wouldn't let me do it myself. She's just going to jump on it. And if you are the front in the fight, your troops will follow you eventually. Always build friendships in hard times. They will stick with you. This is how I believe in it. especially in work or in academic life, stay with people. You never know that the 300 lira that you gave someone, lent someone, may come to you in thousands of liras of appreciation, and maybe more than that. And always have a B plan in your career. It doesn't come very often that we have to choose. You may make your own decisions, but as women, we have, because we want controlled risk. We don't want out of the blue risks. Have a B plan, just in case. You may never use it, but have it in hand. Bad choices, why get stuck? Yeah, we all make bad choices. Coming back from the United States early, I did it, after 2 years, I came back, got an offer from Turk. Yeah, I worked there for 1 year, then they fired me. Like, really fired me. You come back as a Washington correspondent, as a White House correspondent. And after 1 year, they call up and say, well, we really don't want to work with you anymore. This was a no-no in media world at that time. Now it's standard procedure, so it's no big deal. But I felt like, shit, well, if everybody goes through this once in their life, maybe I should go through this too. Don't get stuck. Move on. You will create other options. Let's make better mistakes tomorrow. That's a good addition from our friends. Always take charge of your life. It's not just about being strong, but it's almost about letting go of the work that you sometimes take. Ask for help, literally. If you can't do it, you don't have to be a superwoman. If you can't do it, say it. I am not going to do this, or I can't help it. Make yourself the center of your happiness. You can spread joy only if you really have it in you. Money, career, success, love, all come to learn to give with love, but also learn to get it. You can't be everything to everyone. Give as much as you can, but demand back that you deserve better. When invited, try your best to go. It could be a party. It could be just like one of these meetings. You may still stay at home and watch, a soap opera on television, but what if you went there and you met someone that unfolded some relations? All of a sudden, surprisingly, you may have a job opportunity. You may meet the love of your life. You never know. Don't always push for it, but if there's something, an invitation coming to you, take it. When offered, calculate your risks, but listen to your heart. This is what I do most of the time. And listen to your body, more and more of your body. If you're cold about a decision, if your body really reacts to something, if you don't want to sit next to a person, don't sit there. I don't have the scientific explanation for this, but there's really something into it. We affect each other, and good things, good vibes, good energies really connect with each other. Don't be afraid of changing cities, countries. I've changed cities so many times, you never know. And keep your inner child alive, consult with her, go back to your best times when you were a kid, what made you happy, and always, keep your spirit alive just like a child. We are, at the end of our lives, going to go back to that period of naive, almost unconditional love and serenity with the earth. Thank you very much.